Hey everyone, welcome back to the AutoFlux Games Season 2. So this video is the finale, which in this case incorporates two things. It is the final scores that are retrieved from the poll, and we'll talk about the winners. So first things first, let's talk about the poll. So there were, at the time of me seeing it, there are 635 votes, and this is on Tuesday, so it's a little bit early, but this is when I have to do things because I've got to make the video a bit earlier. But the Bugo came in first on the poll with 147 votes. That is 23% of the votes were for the Bugo. That's almost a quarter. People really seem to like the Bugo, and don't worry, I have not forgotten about that. We will do more Bugo things. Second place, we have the Group C Al with 134 votes. Again, a very high percentage of the votes, 21%. It's very clear that people wanted to see the Group C Al win instead of the Bomero, so definitely cool to see. Next up in third place, we have the Trig X. Again, a very good car, another one of the more popular ones on the channel, 101 votes. That's 16%. In fourth, surprising, I guess, at least for me, the King XR5. People really seem to like it. Again, 70 votes. Not gonna come in last for that one. It was a relatively decent car in most of the challenges, but we'll get to that. Next is the Bomero 3.0. Pretty far down this time, actually, 50 votes. That is like almost a third of what the Group C Al had, so it's again very clear that the Al was like, you want to see this one win, even though they were close. But the Bomero being down there has some interesting things you'll see soon. Next is the Rhino. I kind of thought the Rhino would be higher, but it seems like the dynamic of the way that this poll works is that when you vote on something, you're kind of hoping that it'll be up at the top, and then if it doesn't get to the top, it's better for it to be at the bottom. Because the Rhino was always the lowest scoring vehicle, even like if you look at the previous results before adding the poll in, it was in third from last and only 2 points away from the San Andreas and the Bugo. So the Rhino had a chance at being remade, but it was voted too high, I think, but that's okay. People like the Rhino, and I do too. Next up is the VATS E-Spec, 22 votes, 3%, very low percentages here from here on out. It seems that people weren't too interested in the VATS E-Spec. It's very middle of the pack, actually just a little bit higher than the middle of the pack, but yeah. King XR8, again, I guess not too interesting, again with 3%, 17 votes. Panther Tree Turbo, very close behind, 16 votes. And then the Saint Ultra R with 14 votes at 2%. It did win a few of the challenges just by the nature of its horsepower, but it's very middle of the road overall, and you'll see that soon. San Andreas and the Bugo actually were fighting it out at the bottom of the pack last time, so it's cool to see the San Andreas so low, because with such low points, it has some interesting consequences, but also benefits. And then next, at the very bottom, is the Barodozer 2.0, 11 votes, 2% of the votes. Not many people were into it, I guess. It did win the last contest, which is, I mean, surprising for me as well, but yeah, kind of cool to see. So if we take a quick glance over at the current standings, without the poll in, you can see the Group C Al is in first by 1.5 points, and the Bugo and the San Andreas are tied for last place. Those are the positions that count, because if you remember, I said that I would be taking the first and the last car and then redoing them. So here are the final results. When you add in those poll scores, we have this. So the Group C Al comes in first with a pretty decent lead, 59.5 points, just consistently good in everything except for even the fuel economy. It wasn't too bad. But the Group C Al has come in first, which means that the next build video I do will be the Group C Al. It's going to be getting a 2.0 version. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but we'll have to see. We must improve it in some way. It's probably going to be more of like a Group C Al Sport. We'll see how that goes. We might change it up a little bit. Can't swap out that V16 though, as much as it's tempting to. And then in second place is the Bomero 3.0 with 55 points. Really terrible in fuel economy as to be expected, but just kind of good in everything else. It just could not rival the Group C Al in terms of the fans. So yeah, because of that, goodness, it came in a pretty distant last at 4.5 points lower. After that is the Trig X, 6 points lower than the Bomero. Again, another consistently good vehicle, just generally not quick enough to get to the likes of the Group C Al or the Bomero to do well in the challenges. but still one of the better cars that ran in the competition. After that is the XR5. This is actually so far very similar to the pole, except for the Bomero's standing, of course. And after that is the VATS E-Spec. Then the St. Ultra R with 42 points. The VATS E-Spec has 43, so they're very close there. The King XR8, kind of a disappointing result from that car. It was not quite as good as I thought. Very low in terms of scores, and just kind of generally not great. In the drag race it did well, but I don't know, didn't do too well. That's 32 points, so 10 points lower. After that we have very close behind the Panther Tree Turbo at 31.5 points. Again, very low. It's not really made for this kind of competition. It very much specializes in towing, and it's got way too much power. Next up, the Brodozer. It had quite a ride, coming second last in the fuel economy, and then kind of doing okay, and then really doing poorly. And then in the dirt, it got first, and then on the pole it got last. So it's like, I don't know. It's way down at the bottom, 30 points. Tied with the Bugo, which won the first competition, lost the second, and then actually lost 2 others, and then won another. So it's so up and down for the Bugo, but it's not a great score overall. 30 points, tied with the Brodozer. However, again, I will say this, we're not done with the Bugo. I have a couple of things in mind. We're going to be messing with the Bugo a little bit more. I already have made a new version, but I'm going to probably make another one just because people like it so much, and to be honest, I like it a lot as well. After that we have the Rhino with 27 points. It actually won, I mean, of course it won the Rhino Smash, but after that, in last place by a significant amount, 7 points down, the San Andreas with 20 points overall. That is a third of what the Group CL has, and I think it's time that we remake the San Andreas. So that'll also be in another video. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the same thing I did before, where I did the Group CL and I did the Bomero and the Brodozer in the same video. I might do these ones separate, we'll see, just to spend a little bit more time on them. But yeah, that's what's going to happen there. So I just wanted to take this time to say a thank you to everybody who's been watching this series. It means a lot to me to know that people are interested in this stuff still, and it's cool to be able to continue to make these kind of events and games and such, and just have fun with it. The next one isn't going to be for a while. Same thing with the showcase that I did before. I really want to take a break from this and move on to some other things, and then we'll come back to it eventually, but it'll be in a different form. It's not just going to be these similar events every time. I want to specialize the showcase, and I want to specialize the AutoFlux games as well. So stay tuned for the AutoFlux games Season 3. Probably going to have a distinct spin on it, something that'll be a little bit more unique. And that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. I will see you again soon.